All right, guys, we are now on the revising step of this process. And right here for step 9, I'm asking you to revise your writing to include evidence and appeals, which is a fancy way of saying, how are you making me agree with you, basically, in your persuasion. So if you go back to your essay, you have to remember that the ethos, logos, and pathos, the ethos means are using credible sources, or you're appealing to my ethics. And at the very beginning, I actually used some statistics, which would really factor into ethos, but I have not cited them. So I need to go back in and say where I've gotten this information. In the United Kingdom, where Boy Scouts originated, a full 25% of the Boy Scout program is now female. In fact, there are 94,366 registered girls in Scouting in the United Kingdom. So where am I getting this information? Turns out, you're going to love this, I got this information from Wikipedia. But I'm not going to cite Wikipedia because Wikipedia actually tells me where they got their information, and they got their information from the 2014 annual report from the Scouting Association. So what I need to do is I'm going to actually just copy this so I get the wording right, and I'm going to bring it over here. Let's see, where do I want to put it? All right, I'm going to drop it kind of right here, and then I'm going to clean it up. Okay, so in fact, according to the 2014 annual report released by the Scout Association, and then I delete this extra now that I've got the phrasing that I wanted. All right, so now it says, in fact, according to the 2014 annual report released by the Scout Association, there are 94,000 blah, 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 blah. So this is the only type of citation or attribution that I need here in this type of paper. This is not a research paper where we have to, fully accredit sources with the MLA format. So I am covered here. In fact, if I was going to publish this online, I would not even need to write this in. I could even just drop a hot link or a hyperlink to my source with one of the statistics. So that is some ethos, or I have some statistics, some credible information, and I've told you where I've gotten it from. Pathos, remember, is an appeal to emotions, and anytime you have a persuasive paper, it's almost always going to involve emotions. People get emotional about things. So you are going to look for areas where you can kind of stoke the emotional fires, if you will. So I tried to do some of that down here, talking about family camping, and casual observer sees the kids running and playing. They're getting the outdoor exercise that we claim all kids need desperately. Using words like desperately and whatnot tends to, kind of trigger people in a good way. That idea of, they agree with you or they don't. But in this case, hopefully they're agreeing with us, right? Because it's persuasive. So we're looking for areas where we just kind of have those emotional things, like the words like sneak off together into the woods. That kind of triggers an emotion as well. Young girls will be snuggled into child-sized sleeping bags. Those are emotional appeals where they're so cute in their little child-sized sleeping bags. We have a little bit of humor, which is also kind of an appeal to emotion. Down here with scouts, with the help of their father, building these race cars. So all throughout, we are looking for areas where we can drop information in. One of the other types of appeal is the logos or logic, which is reason. So we just try to explain things in a logical type sense. Like down here, for example, Cub Scouts has been a co-ed organization for years. And then I give you examples of some of the co-ed aspects of scouting that I've come across and that others have. There is one more thing I want to add, though. I want a quote. I want somebody who is more important than me, who says something that I agree with that will help persuade others. So I've come here to the official Boy Scouts of America newsroom.org, and that .org tells you that it is a quality publication. And I'm going to look here. It's actually a government or organization. That doesn't necessarily mean quality. I'll change my tone on that. But here it is from the official organization, and here we have a quote from somebody named Michael Serbog, who is the BSA's Chief Scout Executive. So he sounds like he's pretty important. So let's look through his quote and see if there's something we can use in ours. In fact, I'm just going to grab, again, for the same reason. It's here, it's handy, it has all the spelling that I already need. So I'm not going to copy it to use it as my own. I'm going to copy it so that I can pull the spelling. And I was thinking I would add right here a little reference to this guy here. So I'm going to make sure I come down so my font is the same. What do I want to say? I'm going to say Michael Serbaugh, the BSA's Chief Scout Executive. And yes, I'm typing directly what it says. It looks like I'm copying, and I am, but I'm copying somebody's name and title. It's not like it's some sort of magical word usage that I'm claiming as my own. I'm just copying it so that I'm being appropriate. All right, Michael Serbog, the BSA's Chief Scout Executive, agrees that girls should be a part of the scouting experience. He claims, comma, quote, capital, this decision, and again, I'm copying exactly, but you see those quotes? Those quotes say that it is perfectly legal to copy exactly what he says, and in fact, it would be wrong to not copy exactly what he says, because then I would be misconstruing what he has said. And that happens a lot in the media, but that's a different conversation for a different day. All right, true to the BSA's missions and core values outlined in the Scout Oath and Law. The values of scouting: trustworthy, loyal, spelling correctly, helpful, kind, brave, and reverent, for example, hyphen, are important for both young men and women. And I'm going to end with a period because I'm not, it's not an interrupted quote for me because I rearranged some of the thought there. So now when I go back and look, I just want to keep doing what they're doing, but with maybe a bit of recognition. I still have these highlighted from a previous video. I still need to revise these. That'll actually be the next step. So I've added a new little short paragraph. Michael Zerba, the BSA's Chief Scout Executive, agrees that girls should be part of the scouting experience. He claims this decision is true to BSA's core and value, and then I go into Cub Scouts, and so it's a nice smooth transition. I now have an authority figure here in my essay. I have a quote. Anytime you can use a quote from somebody who is considered more important than you are on a topic, it's going to lend some weight to your argument, which was absolutely the goal here.